Hi, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your January 16th to the 31st, 2024 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps my channel out tremendously, and it helps me out tremendously. It gets us seen by the YouTube algorithm. So, thank you so very much for doing so. So, let's see what the tarot has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. So we have the Emperor crowning this reading, and then we have the King of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. And then we have the Tower upright. We have the Seven of Swords reversed. We have the Chariot reversed, and we have Justice reversed. Okay. So it's really interesting here is that we have the Emperor crowning everything. This is also Aries energy, a time frame of March 21st to April 19th. If you have Aries in your chart, Scorpio, or if you have Aries in your life, this comes through very positively during this time. Now, if we have Libra energy in our charts or Libras in our lives, this can come through, or we're born on the cusp with Libra, this can come through a little bit more sticky wicket type of thing. This is going to be a little bit more challenging. So just be mindful about this during this time. We might be looking at things and seeing certain things as being unjust or unfair and kind of wondering why or trying to figure things out, especially when it comes to finances or what we value as much as money. It looks like here we're having a different way of looking at things or a different way of understanding things. This is earth sign energy. Again, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And if we have Capricorn energy in our chart, Capricorn energy in our lives, or not Capricorn, but if we have Earth sign energy in our chart, Earth sign energy in our lives, we're going to see that this is just it's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit tricky for us. So just be mindful about this. And since Spirit did have me say Capricorn, just pay attention to Capricorn during this time. We are also, are we in? Yeah, up until the 19th, we are in Capricorn time frame. So just know that up until the 19th, I mean, this starts on the 16th, so it's not that long, but we can find this to be just a little bit challenging during this time. We have the Tower coming into play. Now, the Tower isn't necessarily a bad thing. It is just profound and intense change. What I like to say with the Tower is that we can have a Tower time when we get married, when we have children. So it doesn't mean that it has to be terrible. It doesn't have to be terrible at all. It just means that it's going to be intense. It kind of rocks our foundation. We have to get our footing. We have to get our bearings about us. So just knowing that during this time is going to be important, that this is a time of intense change. It also is a time where we're releasing, with the Seven of Swords, a lot of lies that have come at us, a lot of lies that have, really, really shaped the way that we look at things. Not only during this time, but for a really long time. We're going to start to let certain ideas, certain ideals go. We're going to start to looking at things in a very different way than we had before. Now, with the Chariot reverse, now this is also Cancer energy. So if we have Cancer in our chart, if we have Cancer in our lives, this can be a little bit tricky. Time frame of June 21st to July 22nd. This is not having a real hand on our emotions. So just be mindful about this. We can have people come into our lives that are emotionally all over the place. They need to learn how to regulate themselves. They need to kind of get things under control. That's going to be really important. And it also is really important for us not to have our emotions all over the place, to get things under control, to rein things in, and to look at things like the Emperor. This is very strong sacred masculine energy for us crowning this whole entire reading. And it's going to be very important for us to really look at things and say, okay, how am I taking care of things? How am I moving things forward? Being quote unquote very patriarchal in our way of looking at things or our way of connecting with things. And I don't mean that. I know people can get upset when you say patriarchal, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all. And I don't think it should be. It is simply, you know, a male head of the household type of energy. And it's very much looking at things like a loving, caring, compassionate father would. And that's going to be the energy that comes forward during this time. And it's going to be a sense of like, are you looking at everything? I'm just hearing measure twice, cut once type of thing. Like just look it over again, make sure you have everything all lined up. You're also going to see things a little bit more 3D during this time, Scorpio, which is actually very beneficial. You're going to be looking at certain ideas and you're going to be able to see it kind of like rise up and be able to see like it alive during this time. So that's going to be very, very interesting and very powerful for us as well. Okay, so let's see what Spirit has to say. And if you're interested in entering to receive a free reading, put a snowflake in the comment box below. A person will be chosen at random and announced on the 1st of February. All the instructions will be in that video or in the description box. So do pay attention to that. And if you're interested, and I will not be contacting anybody in the comment box, so don't be scammed. And if you're interested in purchasing a private reading, a private personalized meditation, or a healing, check out my website, daneharttarot.com. All right, so Spirit is saying angelic. Our angels are right there with us during this time, and that is going to be transformative. So here we're connecting with our angelic energy, we're connecting with our angels, we're connecting with our spirit guides. That is going to move us forward. If we can slow it down, Scorpio, during this time, and just connect with our angels, because our angels are working so powerfully and so passionately with us, that's going to be a game changer. That's going to push us forward in ways that we hadn't imagined we needed to be pushed, or we didn't imagine we could be heading towards. So that's going to be a really big thing for us, just to slow down and connect, because we are the sign that is most linked with the spirit world. That's why people always say, like, oh, Scorpios are sneaky. You're not really sneaky. I mean, yes, a Scorpio that is in a low energy vibration can be sneaky, or is, a negative Scorpio can be sneaky. But it's more that you're connected with a spirit world that other people don't even understand. So they're not able to be on the same page as you. So just be mindful about that, where you think, people don't get you, or people are like, oh, you don't fully comprehend what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. It just doesn't mean the same thing to you. So let's see what Spirit has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Okay. So this is universal light. This is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above our crown. And this is the universal light guiding us, leading us, really opening up to us during this time. We are going to see that our angels are blessing us, that we are moving forward in a way that we hadn't anticipated, but also that there's a grounding to us. There's a connection to us. There's a power within us that is moving us forward more openly, more honestly, and more spiritually than ever before. But there's also a sense of like, I'm healing you, I'm connecting with you, stay with me as we walk together. So let's see the energy that we need to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. This is the 4 of Cups. So this is God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, is handing us a gift. And we have that here with this cup. I can show you in the upright position, right? This cup over here, but we're busy looking over here. And spirit is going to really pull us out of our comfort zone, but be mindful during this time of stubbornly sticking to, I have to see it this way, or it has to be just like this. And spirit's like, why? Why aren't you opened to the change that's coming in? And it is because, and I'm not saying this to be, or spirit, I'm not saying this for spirit or through spirit for anybody to get defensive. But what spirit is saying here is, look this way. It will be an easier path. But right now, when it comes to us, it's like, no, you don't understand. I'm focusing. I need to get this done. I need to do this right now. And spirit's like, I don't want you to be in survival mode. I want you to be in thriving mode. So that's going to be really important here. Okay. So let's see how the cards correlate with the astrology of this time. So on the 16th of January, we have the moon in Aries squared Mercury in Capricorn. Now, this is a difficult day for everyone. It's difficult for communications. We can stumble over our words. We can find it difficult to really communicate the way that we want to. We need to think before we speak, and it's going to be so important for everybody to listen. What nobody is going to want to do on the 16th is listen, and that's where like emotions really do run high during this time, and we can just feel that things aren't balanced, things aren't fair, things aren't harmonized the way that they need to be. We're also really looking with the King of Pentacles reverse at what is important to us. And we're thinking it's slipping away, it's slipping away. Don't be so harsh on yourself, right? It's not all over. You're really doing a good job. You're moving forward slowly, steadily, practically towards where you need to be. And just kind of stepping back and stepping into your power, listening, and looking at things first is going to be really important. Kind of like a good ruler listens before acts. And that's going to be really important for us during this time. On the 17th of January, we have the moon in Aries trine Venus in Sagittarius. This brings stability and security into our lives. We're much more confident, we're very grounded during this time, and much more present. So that's really embracing the Emperor energy. We're going to be looking at things. And even though we know that there's this huge change coming in for us, and we know that we're seeing things differently, or we're moving forward in a way that we hadn't expected, we do feel on the 17th like we have a lot more of our footing, we have a lot more understanding. On the 18th of January, we have Mercury in Capricorn, sextile Saturn in Pisces. And this is mental discipline at its best. We're really gathering up our information, we're moving towards our goals, we're focused, and we're practical. Now, we can be a little bit of the extremes during this time. So do be mindful about this. We can be too practical during this time and not really embrace our heart. And then we can be all heart and no logic. So just knowing that we do have those extremes coming in, that's what Spirit is showing. Just be aware of this, especially with the Chariot reverse. Now, also on the 19th of January, we have Venus in Sagittarius squared Neptune in Pisces. Empathy and compassion are running high. And that's again with the Chariot reverse. It's like our emotion, we wear our heart on our sleeve. And that's going to be really important for us to know during this time, that our emotions are everywhere. We really do like to take care of people. And especially with Cancer energy coming in, Cancer is like the eternal mother energy. This reverse can mean that we're a little helicoptery or overbearing. So just be mindful about this. We also have that helicoptery, overbearing energy around us during this time. It can be somebody in our lives. So just being aware of that. Now, with Venus in Sagittarius squared Neptune in Pisces, not only do we have the strong compassion and strong empathy, but we can also be taken advantage of during this time because people are going to really see our good nature. So it's going to be lower energy vibrational people on the 19th, really taking advantage of higher energy vibrational people. So just be mindful about this. On the 20th of January, we have the sun entering into Aquarius. And now Aquarius season is a time to embrace, what makes us different. It's a time to let ourselves stand out, to be independent, to step out of our comfort zone, and really focus on our future and focus on making changes for our future. So we're going to see that coming in. We are a little bit gun shy with change, so just be mindful with the tower here that we feel like everything is changing quite enough. Thank you very much. Like, let's slow it down. Let's kind of stabilize things. We are also going to be focusing more with the King of Pentacles reverse with what is important to us, because we can feel like, okay, what I was working towards wasn't really working out. So just being mindful about this during this time is going to be important, because we're going to be really strict on ourselves and really hard on ourselves. And instead of saying, okay, let me step back and see what is it that I really want, what is it that's really important to me, we're going to have really fixed goals and really fixed ideas, which can be fantastic, but we need a bit of elasticity to kind of go with the flow of just day-to-day living. Also on the 20th of January, we have Pluto entering into Aquarius. So Pluto comes back into Aquarius, and this is us being extra focused. We are really moving towards change and transformation for our lives. Now, we do feel out of balance during this time. So this change, this extra focus comes in, and we're taking control of our future, but we can also really just have a question mark around us. And if one thing we take away from this whole entire reading, let it be that we don't have to have all the answers during this time. If we go day by day, if we embrace moment by moment and see ourselves moving forward, we're really going to be rather inventive, rather unconventional, and we're going to see ourselves stepping more into our light and our passion, what we need, what we want, what's really important to us. And that's going to be a big game changer. Now, also on the 20th, we have the Sun in Capricorn conjunct Mercury in Capricorn. Now, this is for everybody, which is really rather interesting. Something big that happened, or not big, but something that began 6 to 8 weeks ago. Okay. We're going to start to see it come to a head. It's going to have a bigger impact on us. It's not going to be something that's little and throw away, but it's going to have a bigger impact on us. And now we're going to be looking at things, and we're going to start seeing this result come in, and it's going to give us ideas of, okay, how am I moving forward next? Let us not be too emotionally charged by this, or too practical with it. So what I'm just seeing here is either I'm seeing like a plant, either we can overwater it or we can underwater it. And Spirit is saying here, let us embrace the energy that we're stepping into right now, and be compassionate with it, and move it forward, and not be too enthusiastic, or think, oh, it'll just take care of itself. So just be aware of this. On the 22nd of January, we have the moon in Gemini opposite Venus in Sagittarius. Mark this as a lazy day. I mean, seriously, let yourself have a break on the 22nd. If you cannot do any meetings, if you cannot, make this day stressful, that would be really, really, really great, because we're just going to see that it's just lazy. We need to give ourselves time to get things done. We're moving slower. Everybody's moving slower. Nobody's fully listening or connecting the way that they should be. So just be aware of this during this time. On the 23rd of January, we have Venus entering into Capricorn. And this is really interesting because Venus is the planet of love and pleasure, and Capricorn is more, let's get things done, let's get things grounded, let's look at, everything that's moving us forward. And what we're going to see here is that we're really going to take joy and pleasure out of ambition, out of being focused, out of looking at our goals, out of making progress. And just be mindful, because with the King of Pentacles reverse, we can take it just a little bit too far. We can be too embedded in, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm moving forward, this is where I need to be. So just be aware of this during this time. But also when it comes to love, we're going to be much more conventional, and we're going to be much more committed to the people that we love in our lives. And romantically, we can really see this day as being like, no, this is what I want to commit to. This is how I'm moving forward. So that's going to be a very big thing. But our emotions are still, with the Chariot reverse, kind of all over the place. So we do need to get a handle on that. The Emperor is really going to help us with being practical, with being really rather forthright about things. We're going to start to say things to ourselves where it's like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense. Like, that's very logical of me. And it's going to be in all avenues. And I see this being something that's rather interesting for us when it comes to love. It's to be so practical, to be so logical about things, not cold and distant, but very much saying, how is this going to serve me in the long run? And how is this moving forward in what I desire in my life? So that's a very interesting energy coming through. Somebody also, okay, from the other side, somebody doesn't want you to make the same mistakes they made. They want you to be a little bit more practical with things, a little bit more, kind of looking at all sides of things, look at all the different corners, is what they're saying. Now, what's interesting is that this person might have been like a hopeless romantic. They were a hopeless romantic, but they also had a lot more restraints on them than you do right now. So just be aware of this. This is very interesting energy coming through. So just be aware of that during this time. On the 24th of January, we have the moon in Cancer, trine Neptune in Pisces. This is a day where we really like helping people out. We're going to be very supportive. We're going to be very understanding. Be mindful during the last half of January not to take on other people's emotions. We can really think, oh, I'm helping them, but what we're doing is like, they're draining us. They're taking a little bit of our energy, and we're getting their energy that is just more depleted, more drained, more lower vibration. So just be mindful about this during this time. On the 25th of January, we have the moon in Leo squared Jupiter in Taurus. Again, this is another difficult to focus day. Take it easy, slow it down. We're going to be a little bit lazy. Yeah, just like calling it as it is. We need to take breaks. If we need to get things done, we need to take breaks. We need to be just kinder with ourselves, with our energy, and with our time. So whatever we need to get done, just know it's going to take longer. So just be mindful with this. We also have the full moon in Leo on the 25th. So that energy combined with it being kind of a lazy day is going to be rather interesting. And there will be a completely separate video on the Leo full moon. On the 26th of January, we have the moon in Leo squared Jupiter in Taurus. We're restless, we're agitated, and we don't really know why. This reading here shows us a lot of why we would be, restless and agitated. With the King of Pentacles reverse, we don't feel like we're making the progress that we want to. And what Spirit is going to say during this time, and it can be completely unrealistic for many of us, but it's going to be really helpful. Take money off the table with what you're trying to move forward in. If you keep on looking at the dollar sign of it all, you're going to drive yourself insane, because we're always going to say, like, it needs to be more, it needs to be more, it needs to be more. We're going to be very rigid with this. But Spirit is saying, if you take the stress out of it, you're actually going to see yourself starting to produce and create better. You're going to see yourself opening up in a way that you hadn't imagined. So once you start doing it for the love of it, it's like, okay, then a switch gets flipped. And it's like, okay, now the productivity, the passion, the bounty starts coming in. But we're going to see a change around money, and also a change around a lot of the lies that were told to us once upon a time, or that, yeah, that were told to us, or that we like really believed. Like we could have believed just all on our own that we weren't worth it, or that, we couldn't do XYZ. And this is going to be a time where we're looking at this energy of like, I don't get to be as prosperous, I don't get to be as successful. And we're saying, why? Why is that? Why did I automatically knock myself down? Why did I put myself in a lower rung when I can really achieve and succeed much, much more than I thought? See, what you're trying to do during this time, Scorpio, is you're looking at a certain group of people. And it's like, I want to be that, but you're not that. It's kind of like, I want to be a pear, but you're an orange. And you're always going to be disappointed because an orange can never be a pear and a pear can never be an orange. So looking at this during this time and saying, this is me. These are my skills. This is my success, right? I can make a brilliant, orange juice, or I can be a brilliant orange, but I'm never going to be a pear. And that's okay. And I'm accepting that. That's going to be really important here, because I do see that energy coming in during this time where it's like, but I want to be like this. And Spirit's like, but that's not you. So let's start being open and honest with ourselves, with what we really want. And we're not what we really want, because we do want to be that pair, but let's be open and honest with ourselves, with who we are. And it's like really connecting with our soul and really connecting with ourselves. And then it moves us to this place where all of a sudden, like the emotions that are all over the place because we're trying so hard and putting so much energy in something that is just not going to be, starts to calm down. And it's like, oh, well, how do I take the reins then? It's when I start being me. And then I start being fairer to myself. I start being more balanced in my eyes, because I'm seeing me for who I am. And then that gives us this ability to really start to say, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Or look at it this way, because we're looking at our strengths instead of only looking at our deficits. And that's going to be really important during this time. And I hope that makes sense, Scorpio. Okay, so on the 27th of January, we have the Sun in Aquarius squared Jupiter in Taurus. And this is a feel-good time. Now, this is a really interesting time because we can be a little bit lazy. It's very much like the tortoise and the hare type of vibes, because this is such a good day for us. We feel like everything is just making sense. I don't know if you've ever read the Stormlight archives from Brandon Sanderson, but he has this one person in there that's just a genius. And he had one day where everything made sense, and he's never been able to replicate that day. That kind of feels like this for us on the 27th. It's like everything makes sense. I totally understand everything, so I can get it done later, but we're not going to have that same brilliance going into the other days. So just be mindful about this during this time, because with Mercury is also in Capricorn, conjunct Mars in Capricorn. Our mind is active. Our ideas are flowing. We are enthusiastic. We can jump into things and really make changes, see things growing. So we want to utilize that. And also on the 27th of January, Uranus is going direct in Taurus. Now, Uranus is coming out of retrograde. So the past couple of months where we felt like unmotivated, or we just can't get things off the ground, we're going to start to see that's changing. The standstill that has been is really starting to change, and we're starting to see things open up. We're starting to see our creativity change start coming in, and we're starting to see like, oh, I want this. I want things to move. I want things to change. There's this like crusty ickiness that's like falling away, and that's going to be really important during this time. But just like the hare in the tortoise in the hare, we can kind of sit back and be like, oh, I've got this later, and then the energy is kind of gone, and the tortoise winds up winning because we took a nap and we missed the race. So just be mindful about this on the 27th. On the 28th, we have Venus in Capricorn, sextile Saturn in Pisces. We really get pleasure in focusing on our goals, and that's going to be a really big thing for us. We're really going to be embracing that Emperor energy. We're making connections with people. We're going to find it really fun to make more connections, to really open up doors. We're really responsible. We're really focused, and it really gives us a lot of joy to get things done and to do it right. Also, we have Mercury in Capricorn, trine Uranus in Taurus on the 28th. Unconventional ideas are coming to us. We're looking outside of the box. We're opening up the door. We're like, oh, I can do this, or what about this, or what about that? We are really going to want to kind of pigeonhole ourselves for one reason or another, just by the energy that's here in the cards. And Spirit's like, don't tell yourself that lie. It's time to change things up. And a tower time can be it can be traumatic, but it can also be so exhilarating. So just embracing it as an exhilarating time, as a really embrace of a change and a passion moving forward. Venus is in Capricorn, trine Jupiter in Taurus also on this day. So luck is on our side. We feel good about everything that we're doing. We're really benefiting from having people in our lives that support us and care for us and are, cheering us on. So even if we don't have that, connecting with our angels, connecting with our spirit guides in that way is going to be really great. We're open to opportunities and we're open to new ideas. On the 29th of January, we have Mars in Capricorn, trine Uranus in Taurus. We are energetic, we are enthusiastic, we really are seeing strong changes come in, and we're being much more inventive with our ideas, the way that we want to move forward, what we're looking for. And so that's going to be really beneficial for us. We are not doing things the same old, which is going to be really good on this day. And we're also embracing the unusual. Now, the 30th of January and the 31st of January, they're a little bit of a slug. So just be aware of this. The moon is in Libra, squared Venus in Capricorn. We're a bit irritable. People tend to bother us on this day because we have justice reversed. We can have a tendency to feel things are unfair. We can have a tendency with the chariot reversed to feel things very intensely. And with the King of Pentacles reverse, it's like we're not moving forward in the prosperity, but we also have really super high, almost unrealistic expectations for ourselves of what we're going to achieve and what we're going to succeed at and how it needs to be done and how it needs to be just so. We can be very militant with that type of understanding. We're letting go of a lot of lies that, could have been a foundation of what we believed. Like, I don't mean that in a way that we're looking at things and changing our ideology, though some of us might be. But it's like, well, if I'm not a failure, then I'm a success. Like, it's like a question mark. And so we're looking at things in a way that feels it's more open, it's more positive, but it's also scary and it can be overwhelming. And the tower just shows that this is a shake-up time. This really is a shake-up time. So just be aware of this during this time. We need to cut ourselves some slack and we need to be compassionate with ourselves. On the 31st of January, we have the moon in Libra, squared Mars in Capricorn. And this is very much energy, again, where we're just a little bit irritated. We can easily snap at one another. We want to get to the root of the problem, but until we look at ourselves and say, okay, what do I really want? Where do I really want to be? And we start to embrace our own power and our own skills, not trying to be somebody else or like anybody else, but saying, this is my life. This is who I am. This is what I'm embracing in me. That's going to be the most transformative time for us. And that's going to be one of the most brilliant things we can possibly do for ourselves. Our subconscious spirit message is magical. Magical is reversed. So this for us, we need to connect with the magic again. We're not connecting with it. We're looking outwardly and we're like, well, why isn't the beauty and the magic and the brilliance here? And spirit's like, we need to call it back in. We need to call back in the magic, the enchantment, the beauty. And that's going to be really important for us. And we're not going to realize how important it is until like things just get a little tinged in gray. I don't know about you, but whenever I'm in a state where I'm really sad, those times are always tinged in gray. They're always like sepia. And that's why I can't even watch TV shows where the filming is in that like sepia grayed down thing. It just makes me so sad. Our subconscious chakra energy is peace reverse. This is the crown chakra. We need to make time every single day to crown ourselves in peace, to embrace peace. Because if we don't, we're going to feel out of balance, and it will be very easy for us during this time to feel out of balance, out of center. And spirit's like, no, call yourself back into center, call yourself back into balance. So really taking time, meditating on the crown chakra and knowing that subconsciously we're out of balance with peace, even if we don't think we are. It's going to be a very important thing to really balance ourselves and stabilize ourselves with. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the King of Swords. This makes perfect sense because we do have such an intense time during this time. With the King of Swords reverse, this is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have strong Libra energy here as well. We can have really harsh inner talk. That's why we're releasing a lot of lies. We can be overly emotional, and it can be overly like we're going to think of it as, oh, I'm just sensitive. And it's like, yes, but it's going to be impacting the way that we can move forward and the way that we can help ourselves and others. And so it's going to be just a little bit too much. We need to ground ourselves. We need to embrace our emotions, but not be ruled by them. The King of Swords can also be that we have a tendency during this time, Scorpio, to listen to everybody's negativity and be like, oh, well, they're telling me the truth, right? They wouldn't be telling me this if it wasn't the truth, if I didn't need to hear it. And sometimes people just spew nonsense or just spew anger and hatred because that's what they're doing. We don't need to listen to everything. Do be mindful about this during this time because we're going to have a tendency to really connect with really smart, like the King of Swords is a brilliant mind, but not that nice of a person. And we have to be able to look at that and say, okay, that person can be brilliant, fine, but they're not an energy sphere I want in my existence. So just be aware of this, Scorpio. Our subconscious tarot message is the Seven of Pentacles. This is going to be a time subconsciously that we're really building, saving, building, and producing more for our future. We're going to be looking at things, and things are going to be moving slower than we want them to be. But subconsciously, you have to know that you're building for something so much greater than you ever imagined. And that's going to be really A++ for us. Okay. All right, Scorpio. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this time and of ourselves. And know that this meditation and healing will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Scorpio. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. God bless. Bye.